Not to alarm you or anything, but imposing tariffs on Antarctica is actually deeply concerning. The longest standing treaty, global treaty between the world is over Antarctica. All the major countries in the world came together and decided to agree upon one thing, and that's that they wouldn't fuck Antarctica. You are fucking with the one thing this world can agree upon. Imposing tariffs is step one. If military get involved, this could very well be the light that strikes the match of World War III. The memes and jokes will be funny till they ain't.
What have the penguins done in Antarctica that Trump is putting tariffs on them?
You know, there are smart ways to use tariffs and there are dumb ways to use tariffs. Donald Trump is using tariffs in the dumbest way possible. In fact, Trump slapped tariffs on penguins, but not on Putin. Yep, that's true. He sanctioned the Heard and McDonald Islands, only inhabited by penguins, but he left Putin's evil Russia alone. That's what happens when you have no clue to what you're doing. You fire air traffic controllers and dismantle disease outbreak monitoring, sabotage Social Security and VA and censor climate data, defund public schools, and now declare a trade war on penguins. We could be going into the greatest trade war in history. We all know that the Great Depression was caused by a trade war like this when Herbert Hoover slapped on these tariffs and the whole world responded. And the Great Depression, which had started, was greatly worsened. Donald Trump seems to have he doesn't even know history. He hasn't learned history. But we could be on the edge of the greatest trade war the world has ever seen. And who will pay the price? The average American family.
The stock market does not lie. If it goes down 1,000 or 1,500 points in one day, it's an economic indicator that people with the knowledge are very worried about what's happening. And that's what happened today.
Stocks on the market and everything else. I don't want to hurt that either, but sometimes you have to give the receive.
I expected it to go down. I didn't expect it to go down that drastically.
I pay attention to the tariffs. If they could bring more jobs to Americans, people in the United States, then I think it's great. But I don't want to see it to hurt the people in the United States.
I'm concerned. I mean, over 80 years, we've had trade partners that we trusted, that they trusted us, and we've lost that over the course of 2 months or a month.
I feel nervous for our household budget. With 2 kids, I wonder what our grocery bill is going to be like. I wonder if we can afford to upgrade our car when it breaks.
What overseas is doing to the United States, that's wrong. Whether it's any kind of business, whether it's your business, my business, or anybody's, that's wrong. And hopefully these tariffs, I know what he's trying to do, these tariffs will help the people with businesses, break the business stronger, make the people that's working and everything else, they can come back and make a decent living.
There's never been an aspect of where a tariff is considered good economic policy.
Look at 1929, Great Depression. That's the last time we did across the board massive tariffs was 1929, and there were bread lines.
If even Lizzo complained about tariffs on the penguins, who are we not to? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. My name is Natkunda, and if you're new here, hi, welcome. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, like, comment, and share. Let me know what you think in the comment section about tariffs. Tariffs? Guys, in simple tense, tariffs is tax. He raises the tariffs on Canada. Whatever you get on Canada is going to be more expensive for you. As an American person, you is going to suffer. The eggs you were getting for $5, now they will be $30.
Okay, let me get this straight. You know how I hate doing that. Donald Trump just came up with what he calls kind reciprocal tariffs. He doesn't understand any of those words. I'm going to get the chalkboard and then I'm going to sort it out for you. Let's go. There's one word to describe Donald Trump. It is kind. Penguins. The man is putting tariffs on penguins. Brace yourself. Kind. Recip. Roll call. Tariffs. Is he just making words up now? Like terminology? Is that what we're doing? First of all, CF47, that's my pet name for him, isn't placing reciprocal tariffs on anybody. A, he doesn't know what the word reciprocal means. B, he really hasn't even figured out what the tariffs are from those other countries on imported American goods to give a reciprocal tariff. So what has he done? He's added this word kind to make him seem like a giant teddy bear while he completely and utterly destroys all mathematical formula. We all know he banned grade 10 math in the United States of America. How the heck could he ever understand reciprocal anyway? Let's focus on Madagascar from that long list of 185 countries he's placed tariffs on. Why Madagascar? Because it was a really good cartoon and it brought me joy. Here we go. Donald Trump says Madagascar, wait for it, has put a 93% average tariff against the United States of America. So what has Donald Trump decided? Well, he's going to be nice and he's only going to charge a kind reciprocal, again, made up words, of 47% on all goods coming from Madagascar going into the United States. He's just going to charge this. I'm going to explain what this means in a second because he's using terminology that nobody actually understands. He chooses to use ChatGPT. Do you think one of his interns do it or, First, let's talk about how Trump came up with the 93% tariff that he says the Madagascar government is placing on the United States. Now, pause. That's the first problem because a tariff isn't placed on a country. A tariff is placed on imports coming into the country. You want to know who pays the tariff? The companies in country. So companies in Madagascar should be paying a 93% tariff on all imported goods coming from the United States into Madagascar. Is that happening? Absolutely not. Let me show you his math. Are you ready for some fun math? First, he takes the trade deficit. He takes that number. What's that number? 79.8 million. That's the trade deficit. Now, I'm going to explain what a trade deficit is to you, and if you could pass it along to CF47, that would be fantastic. A trade deficit means that the United States is buying more from Madagascar than Madagascar is buying from the United States. Want to know why? I'll tell you why. Because the United States has a huge population, and they are one of the wealthiest, if not the wealthiest country in the world. The fact that there's a trade deficit, that they're buying more, makes perfect sense because you're winning the capitalist game. Nonetheless, move on. He then takes the imports from the United States, from US, going into Madagascar, 733.2 million, okay? So you have that number and you have this number. And now we're gonna do some fancy math that makes absolutely no sense and has absolutely nothing to do with trade deficits and trade war. You make a history teacher do math, you understand that it really gets in my 679.8 million divided by 733, what was it? 0.2 million. What's that number, Alex? Hint, it ends up being a percentage as if you did a really, really big test. The answer ends up being 93%. Is that the tariff that Madagascar is putting on imports? Absolutely not. It's some odd amalgamation and mathematical formula of a trade deficit that's going on between one of the biggest countries and smallest countries in the world. I wonder if CF47 knows how to do percentages, or is that ChatGPT as well? So the CF47 has decided that's the tariff that Madagascar is putting on imports. That actually is not it. Right now, just so we know, Customs in Madagascar is putting on approximately a 20% import tax, import duty, I know I said duty, and only on approximately 40% of imports. So not even on all imports. I'm assuming nobody actually wanted to look up the real numbers. Let me reiterate. A tariff is a tax placed on incoming goods imposed by the government, paid for by the importer, and eventually the consumer within that country. How can I get that definition embedded into CF47's head? Maybe I should tattoo it onto Elon Musk's no. So when CF47 and his made-up numbers end up creating another number that he will now tariff all of these countries across the board, that tariff is going to be paid for by American companies and eventually Americans. This reality has caused economists all over the United States to say this is going to be the single biggest tax hike in American history. From his insane mathematical ChatGPT formula, China, he is going to place a 34% tariff on China, 39% on the EU, 46% on Japan, and 52% onto India. Want to know who's going to pay for that? American citizens. I should just send down calculators to the United States to help them out. Now, are tariffs going to bring in revenue? Yes, they are. Guys, tariffs are going to bring in money. So what is Trump going to do with all of this newfound wealth? I'm not going to talk about where he's getting it from. Is he going to give it to the deficit? No. Is he going to invest in social programs? No. Education? Heck no. Right? What is he going to use all of this money for? He is going to use it to fund, wait for it, one of the biggest tax savings for billionaires in the United States. Guess who's paying for this? Americans. You got the right answer, and because you got the right answer, you will suffer a major recession, possibly a depression, over the next 5 years. 47 has called this Liberation Day. Now the funny part is, I'm starting to question what everybody's going to be liberated from. By the sounds of it, mostly it's their money. But that's not all, Johnny. You have China, Japan, and South Korea now united. You can't get those people in the same room to do anything. There are generations of hate between those countries. But you know what? This has caused them to unite and forge alliances. You have the EU, Canada, and Mexico now talking. You have Canada talking free trade with China. You have BRICS nations establishing their own possible currency to go up against the United Nations. So what is it Liberation Day from? I'm going to tell you what it's from. It's from the United States leadership. I even told you the worst part. To sum up, CF47 also put a blanket 10% tariff on 2 islands in Antarctica. The only inhabitants? Penguins. Are they communist penguins? Are they rebel penguins? Are they hiding in the ice? Are they happy feet? Because I swear, if I find out there's singing penguins up there and you put a tariff on them, I can't be held responsible for what I'm gonna do, you soft piece of celery.